Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Oh, I feel so excited today because I'm going to get a chance to share with you what I missed. My daughter reminded me that this was the week that in 1979, February 26th, I got hired at Delta Airlines. Oh my goodness. And I was so happy to have that job. I was so happy to have that job at Delta Airlines. I had wanted to work at Delta Airlines for a long time. It took me 3 years to get hired. And I retired. And the reason why I got hired, I knew what I was doing, but the person said I was such an excellent teacher in the school system. And that person that hired me, wife worked with me in the school system. He said he was afraid that I would leave Delta after they hired me and go back to the school system. Well, I promised him I would not. And I guess he knew more than I knew about what was going on because I was the first black person to be hired in Delta Airlines Public Relations. The second black person was Judge Glenda Hatchett. And the third black person was the phenomenal journalist Kim King. Why did I call their names? Because three black women, very strong black women, educated. I had a master's at the time, and there were so many challenges trying to be in that department. And the challenges was around one person. I've never been invited back to Delta Airlines as the first of anything. They have always had the first, but they never had the first black person who worked in public relations at Delta Airlines. It was a challenge. The person who's the president of Delta Airlines now, if he had been the president then, it would have been smooth. It wouldn't have been a third or fourth person, three people, three strong black women. Because I don't know him, but I like the fact that he did Black Lives Matter on a pen. Oh, I should have brought my pen. I should have all my pens. I was so glad to work there because I didn't want to go back to teaching school. I didn't want to go back to teaching school because I felt like I couldn't do it anymore after being divorced. At that time, Atlanta was still a small city, but it was small in terms of relationships with people. And I had married in Atlanta, and I was Spelman grad. I had gone to France and Canada and all that. I was an excellent, I thought, really good French teacher. Well, they thought so too. They kept moving me up and doing things with me. But but I got a divorce, and from the divorce, things happened, and I remarried again, and things happened, and there I was, just out here, you know, and I didn't really know what I didn't know really what to do. I went back home for a little while to Gary, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be in Gary. I wanted to be in Atlanta, whatever it was. I had a child, and it was up to me. This buck stopped with me, you see. So I said I can get it done. It was rough getting the job. I don't think I even had a phone. If I remember, uh, I didn't have a telephone. And the only number I had was Brenda Witherspoon. And Brenda Witherspoon said I could put her number down. And they called Brenda Witherspoon's number. And she called my mother in law. And my mother in law, who was former mother in law, but still the baby's grandmother. I think that's how it went. And think the some kind of way they got in touch with me. The Delta was looking for me. I was so glad when I showed up. Oh, I was maybe 30, something young, and so when I showed up at the airport, not having gone through cabin service, they were trying to figure out who was I and where did I come from, because everybody went through cabin service. That was they made people clean up the airplanes with all kind of degrees, all kind of education, but you clean up the airplane first. But I didn't clean up the airplane, and I think I met Jonida Mitchell. She didn't clean up the airplane. We was something. So I don't think I met her till later. But anyway, there were two of us got hired on that day, And we fumbled around and did something, and then they needed somebody to work in public relations. I think Mr. Carter, President Carter was President Carter at that time, and Mr. Hill was Mr. Hill, and there was a lot of changes going on in Atlanta behind closed doors. And one of those was to put some black people over on Virginia Avenue. And so they selected about 10 of us. And we all showed up in different departments. I think Rowan Allison was already there. I think Judge Glenda Hatchett, but she wasn't a judge then, was already there. And Donzella Fowler was already there. Yes, so it was maybe 3 or 4 black people there, but not like 10. And Virginia Avenue at that time was a regional airport. So the regional airport was right there on Virginia Avenue also. So it was a small place, maybe 3 buildings were on the campus of Delta Airlines. So I showed up, Georgianne, and it didn't go over at all. It went sour. But I knew I had to try to make it work. I tried, but they had a test. The test to me was how many jelly beans in the jar. I knew I could write. I had a master's degree, but I didn't know how. I didn't have the journalism parts that you needed. And they said that I need to have that before I could be a manager. And then they said, well, just take the test. Well, the young lady who just came out of the University of Georgia, a white woman, she just came out of the University of Georgia with a journalism degree. So it didn't matter. I couldn't beat that test. No way. And I never knew to ask, did all of y'all take that test? I didn't know to ask that, because at the time John Cox was there. And so what he did was he just allowed me to be the black person at different events and from the public relations. We tried to make it work, but there was somebody in that department that didn't want me there. And not only he didn't want me there, but he didn't want the next 2 people there. And so they can tell their own story. I'm just telling mine. And so I got moved around. I was moved around, and one time I was tried about 100 jobs. You can apply. All secretarial, because I had a kid. And I knew that I didn't need to be at the airport or flight attendant, all the fancy stuff that I knew I could be. I had a child, wasn't anybody but me. And I need to work 8 to 5 off on the weekend. So it wasn't the best, but I did it anyway. I remember working with 2 young women with high school degrees. There I was with a master's degree, and we all got the same salary. I was set in a group area. It was demeaning from many times over. And I didn't know so many things had been said that was put in my file. I did have I was an educated woman, but I also came out of civil rights, and I had that line that you couldn't cross with me. But it didn't matter. I had to find my own way. It was a test, as far as I was concerned. I look back on it now, it was rough for me. But I look back on it now, and I thank Rowan Allison Montgomery for calling me one day and said, look, you need to quiet down. You need to just swallow. And keep in mind that you have a child. You have great benefits. And your child is going to need those benefits. She gave me such a stern discussion. I knew I could go back and teach, but I didn't want to go back to the classroom anymore, because I felt that all my friends were married, and there I was, the divorced one. Divorced twice at this point. And Atlanta was a small town, like I said, and I just didn't feel like I belonged anymore. I was already an outsider, because Atlanta has a way of making sure you are reminded that you're not from here. And so I just didn't do it. And I'm glad that Rowan Allison Montgomery spoke to me the way she did. She said, you have a daughter. And I think by this time, I know what happened. I was in a department. I tried to take another test. I failed that test. I didn't know A from 0. It was mental math. That ain't what I do. I'm a right brain person, and I just, it wasn't for me. I thought programming was for me. I was just trying to get somewhere to get some money and still be 8 to 5. So it wasn't for me. I love Pam Hicks. She was trying to help me along. We were sorors, and she was just saying, Georgianne, just hold, you'll be all right. And then one day, this Evelyn had got her package. It was all, she was going to Northwestern. She had all, everything was paid. I didn't have to do anything. And this woman said something to me. And the package had come the night before. And I'm a civil rights person. And she said something to me. Need I say anymore? Rowing called me again and said, girl, we're going to send your butt to the airport. And you know what? They threw Brer Rabbit into the briar patch. Sometimes you don't know. It doesn't sound good, but it turned out to be the best thing that happened to me, to go to the airport. I met so many wonderful people, including Wayne McMillan. And, I won't start calling names, but Bruce Wayne McMillan just carried me along, and Ernie Tate carried me along, and Jonata Mitchell just said, "Ooh, we just love you." And Sandra Jackson, just, these people just took a hold of me and shook me like that and said, "You got all them languages." So I had French, so my French was just came back to me. I had been to school in Canada. I'd been to Paris by then. I didn't need Delta to do that. I'd already done all that. Went to the Sorbonne, all that on my own. That was me and God did all that. I got an NDEA, so I studied University of Angers. They was like, get that French. So I pulled that French out. Now I was the queen of the airport. And then I decided that, I don't know, I just got good with languages. Once you're good with one, I had about 7. And it carried me through. And it was a man who, I won't say who he was. I will say about this one black man who, this woman called me colored, and the white woman got promoted. That's the kind of stuff we do to each other. And it was a black man that did it. He promoted her because he said, well, you shouldn't have reacted. Okay. So anyway, I worked for Swiss Air also, and Gary Levering and we went to Zurich to study and work, and it was just wonderful because I could speak the languages, and they liked that I could speak the languages. And I remember this. I remember this one supervisor called me in. He said, "I've never seen so much garbage in a file in my life." He said, "This is just garbage," and I can imagine now what he meant, because I just those people over there in the PR department, I don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I really enjoyed being there. There was a woman who really, I thought, liked me. I thought she did anyway. And they would send me out to represent Delta Airlines. Let me tell you this story. I'm not going to be long. But I went to represent Delta Airlines out in Marietta. And they said that, to go and, I've talked about Delta. And so I had all my little stuff. I pulled up. Maybe I told you this story in one of my other videos. I don't know. But anyway, I pulled up in front of the church. It was a man standing out there, and I said, I'm here to see it. I had a name. And he says, somebody. I said, I need to hear. He said, well, go around there to the back, to the kitchen. And I said, okay. And I parked my car and went around to the kitchen. And the lady said, can I help you? I said, yes, I'm here. I'm looking for this lady right here. And then I said, I'm here from Delta Airlines. She said, well, it was somebody out front to meet you. I said, well, he sent me to the back. And they all came running. Oh my God, he sent you to the back? All that kind of stuff. I mean, people, white people don't have any clue of what happens. There's a lot to be black. A white person can be black 5 minutes in America. There was a guy who did a movie. What's the name of the book? He took some medicine and made him black and brown, and he tried to be a black person. You've heard the joke that, would you rather be a rich black person or a poor white person? And everybody says, I'd rather be a poor white person, because you can just blend. You can just go. You know, when foreigners say, I came here and pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Well, you had white skin privilege. I got this brown skin, you see. And although I have switched languages on people just because I could do it at the time, you know, I'm still black. I can't hide. And so, I ended up retiring from Delta Airlines only because this gentleman called me in and said, I'm taking some of this out of your file. It doesn't make sense to have all this. It doesn't make sense what they're saying. And I know it was all racist, based on race. I already know that. And so I said all that to say that I'm glad I stood my ground on the times I needed to, because you couldn't cross your line with me. I'm gonna tell you another story. Wait a minute. In the same department, the programming department, I was new, so I came in. Just tell you about white people. So I came in. I was on the phone, regular phone. You know, a phone you pick up that's plugged into a wall. I know you all don't know anything about that. And I was so happy to be in the department. I would talk to somebody. I said, "Oh my God, this is the baddest department I've ever been in. It's just wonderful. I'm enjoying being here." Blah 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 blah. Because I got there early, and I was talking. And so I told you in one of my other videos, maybe, but since this is my anniversary, 1979. 1979, we're in 2024. Woo wee. Y'all can count the years on that one. But anyway, I got called in and I said, "Oh, I just got here. What's going on?" He said, "Well, I heard you talking bad about the department." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, so and so heard you say something about being bad." I said, "So he was listening to my conversation? He came and told you?" I said, "So that's Michael Jackson came out with a song called I'm Bad, I'm Bad." I had to go explain the whole bad. I said, "So you can't you looking at what I said and repeating it back as something bad? Oh, well, you just have to be careful what you say." All that kind of stuff went on at Delta Airlines. All that. But it could go on anywhere. Because if you black, it may go on anywhere. Like I had a nice little headband. I had my own hair. My hair looked like this at one time. So I had my hair like this, and I had a headband on. And the man called me in. It takes Wayne McMillan to tell you who the guy was, because I don't remember. But he remember I cried about it so badly. And he said, "I'm writing you up because you got on the ethnic headband." I see white girls with all kind of stuff in their head. I said, "Ethnic? Well, what's ethnic about it?" It was turquoise and something kind of Indian. I guess that was ethnic. But anyway, it didn't fit. I mean, all kind of little things like that. White people have no clue how harassment, how we are just as black people, we just get, white people can just do anything. They can have on anything. That's why I don't think we should have on anything. I think we should just wear whatever, wear we want to do it. But I just think we ought to go back to those older black people always looked nice. It was spruced up and had their shoulders back, and they always look like somebody. You don't have to look like you was crawled out of bed. But anyway, that's just Jordan talking. I don't know. I'm glad though I retired. I was able to. I didn't travel a lot really until after I retired. I retired at age 52, early out, because Alvin had finished Northwestern at the time, and I still had a master's degree. Not knowing really that cancer was waiting for me. I went to work for the city of Atlanta um, after I put in the 911 system. So I put in the 911 system first when it was on Ponce de Leon. Well, I was the one black female manager that nobody knew anything about when I worked for TRW as a consultant, maybe. Yeah, well, anyway, it's a lot of things I've done, a lot of things I know how to do. I'm grateful for, as you said, for the learning. Back in the day, you said, I'm grateful for the learning. And I try to tell my students that, take everything that we're giving you at Clark Atlanta, wherever you are, because it'll come in handy later on, later down the line. There's so many things that we know how to do. I can switch and do this, switch and do that. I'm grateful God let me live long enough to be able to talk about these things, you see. And so one of the things that I read in my book today, just to close out my years at Delta Airlines, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the late Sandra Jackson because I was about to retire and she said, we're going to take a class called PC. I said, girl, they're not going to let me take a class because I'm already in the system to retire. She said, you're going to take that class. Best thing that ever happened because as soon as I retired from a Fortune 500 training department, which I still have all that up here now. You want some good customer service training, I'm the one. But people came out of my classes at Delta Airlines, they'll tell you, no joke. When you graduated from my class, you were Delta Airlines. But anyway, Sandra said, so I took the class. So I came out. And that's when people said, you're a Fortune 500 company and you know PC? Girl, we got you. So that's when I went to work with TRW. Anyway, I'm grateful to God for all the good things that happened to me over the years. But just the thing that my reading for the day says, and I tell you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. That's Luke 11:9. And then Mark 11, you all know. Everything you ask in prayer will be yours if you only have faith. It was faith that brought me. Faith brought me through 3 cancers. Faith got me sitting up here with you with no teeth. Faith got me sitting up here with you with the chemo, took some of the sight. I mean, I never just heard this infusion chemo was a mess. But faith brought me to 3 years of asking and working at Delta Airlines. And I brought some other people on. They didn't stay long. The only person who stayed, who has 40 years now, she's about to retire. She's number 1 on C or D concourse on the ramp. She's the one that planned all our trips to London and different places that we would go, and the Riviera. She's always doing something. That's Linda Jones. So I thank you, Linda, for taking care of me while I was at Delta. I brought you on, and you did a good job of taking care of me. And Alvin and I have enjoyed it. And I didn't go to Africa till after I retired. I didn't. And I very seldom use my, it's too hard to get on an airplane when you retire. Swiss Air, when their people retire, they're number 1. They can get on the airplane number 1. But when we retire, we're the last ones to get on. We're the foundation, but we're the last ones to get on because the people at work say, you don't have anywhere to go. And we have somewhere to go. And they got a good point. We have young people or people traveling that have to get back to work. Oh my God, I can tell you some stories about getting back to work. We did some of that now. Go fly somewhere and eat, or go fly somewhere and buy some shoes, or go fly somewhere and buy a scarf. Do you know we sent people to buy scarves in Korea? Who does that? Airline people. Anyway, let me tell you about my beautiful glasses. So thank you for listening to me. Happy anniversary, Georgianne. And thank you, Delta Airlines, so I left early, so I don't get much money, but I still get, because it was Delta's good insurance. Delta's good insurance that I had when I got breast cancer. And it was good insurance, God Almighty, the prayers of the righteousness, Big Bethel AME Church, family and friends that got me through it. Yes, they did. So this is my last thing. I love Artlan Hamilton. That's my new person. Artlan Hamilton. Her, I've been keeping up with her, and her mother is selling sunglasses. And I was like, thank you. There's somebody gonna do it with me. But I can't sell them because I don't have 1,000 people on yet. But let me just tell you, I love these. This is my latest ones. But I love these, and I can't sell them. And the ones I had on yesterday are just delicious. I'm going to give these away to the person who called me. You know who called me. I'm going to give these away to you because you like them so much. She said they look like lips. They are. That's what they are. And I don't know anybody else that has a pair like this. So these are yours. And of course I like these, So I'm going to I can put up things I want to sell. I think you can put them up when you get 1,000 people to be your subscribers. But more than that, I'm hoping that I can't find what I need to turn the thing off. Oh, Georgianne, let me get my glasses off. Anyway, more than that, I'm wanting to share. I share my life not because I think it's the best life. It isn't, but I just like maybe to motivate people and also maybe to say to somebody that is working at Delta Airlines now, or somebody who may want to work at Delta Airlines. I think it's good. You can have a master's degree. You can go do something different. Those of you who have retired and you can still apply to work on the ramp. You still got some energy. If you're 60 or 60, that nobody can turn you down because of age. So why not try it? You can fly anywhere in the world, and you can get on the plane before me because current employees can get on the plane before me. So if you get hired tomorrow and it's one more seat left on the plane, you're gonna get on. I haven't left some exotic places now. Did I get left in London? I got left. My daughter went to Cincinnati. She went somewhere. All we want to do is get across the pond. I got left. I've been left some places, but it's okay because I'm here today. So I hope you enjoyed this story of Delta Airlines. Oh, well, let me tell you what else I did with Delta Airlines. I tried to be a vendor. It didn't work. I think if I had this president, it would have worked because I think he has a different atmosphere. He has a different attitude, and I think the attitude would have dwindled down to the because I had the lowest bid. You see, so but I still am grateful. I'm grateful for even the bad things because it made this Georgian. The bad things make have made you. All the rough sides of the mountain you went up. When you came down the other side, just think about your character, how much strength you had, how much you found more love for the Bible, you found more love for Christ, you learned to forgive people. It's not bad when it's rough. It's bad when you're going through it. I cried a lot at Delta. Trust me. But you know what? I just picked myself up because of growing. Who told me you have a daughter? That's how. Who's gonna take care of her? You got a daughter. That's your responsibility. And you can leave. I know you can go anywhere and get any kind of job, but we got good benefits here. And your daughter's gonna need them. And sure enough, my daughter got received. She had to go to London to school on an exchange program, and she needed that travel. hmm And so she was able to go back and forth. She come home get her hair done. You know what I'm saying? I love you, and you can't do anything about it.